Listen to Career Paths by Implement every Thursday.
You might learn something.
You might not.
Available on Apple Podcasts,
On Spreaker,
Spotify,
on Google,
and iHeartRadio. It's your life. Make it happen.
Make sure the sound's turned on. Yeah, who's in charge of this stuff? We don't know what we're doing. Obviously, in more ways than one. Oh my goodness. Are we there
Last
yet?
but not least, make sure noisy
Oh,
things
that's-
are off.
Now you turn up the heat. Huh?
Well, no, it's, it's just things to make the podcast sound more professional by
Ding dong, the doorbell.
No, that'll be here shortly.
And dogs scampering across the floor
Do we catch that once in a while?
once in a while.
Okay. Welcome to Career Paths by Implement. I'm your host, Victor Boudreau, with Mr. Ryan King. I'm bouncing the mic again. Shall we?
Son of a...
I want to start over again. Screw that anyway. Are you ready, Brian? Are you? I'm waiting for you.
No.
I should have checked with you. Were you ready? Are you ready, Brian?
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's going to be one of those. Okay. Oh, we get the lint off your mic.
Oh.
What were you doing with that mic? Welcome to Career Paths by Infonet. I'm your host, Victor Boudreau, with Mr. Ryan King. Today, our guest is Brian Hofstee. Hi, Brian. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So, hey, Brian. As usual, Brian and I go back. I said Brian, not Brian. It's going to be one of those shows. Anyway. So, Brian, tell me, how's your day going?
Day is going.
Isn't it?
I know this guy.
I know a guy.
No, I know this guy.
Oh God, yeah, we do know each other for a few years.
Yep.
Yeah, we have a passion. That's that knitting, crocheting thing that we do. I actually thought of that one earlier. I was going. We've actually had some other guests from that situation on the show. Some of them aren't around anymore. Some of them are. Yeah. Ryan.
Yes.
This is Brian. Ryan.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you.
So, what do you do? What's your career? What is your job that you do presently? How long have you been doing it? You corrected me earlier. I just said. Thank
Yes,
you.
I am a fleet manager in a trucking company.
Okay.
And I've been there for 28 years.
Yeah, and that was and that's one reason I've asked you on the show in the past. And I had to kind of con you into this to get you over here, which I'll do what I got to do.
I know you will.
And here he is. Thank you. It worked. Huh? Okay.
Keep going. Yeah.
You're Mr. Who's you talking to? I'm still yet to figure out who. I've been asking around the office who you talked to about. Yeah.
JD or someone like, I think it was JD.
Antoinette. I don't know which you're. Okay, so Brian, you probably never watched the show before and don't care. There's card one out of there. Let's see. Welcome guest. How's things in your world?
Well, things in my world are good.
It's a little hot these days in the
Yes.
Northwest. It's been hot for quite a while. It's the hottest summer I have ever seen.
I agree.
Yeah, geez Louise. But you don't have to work out in it doing.
No. My present job, I'm in an office with air conditioning.
Okay, I don't like you already.
Said I'm walking off the set.
Fortunately, it's, we're in the basement of my house, and it's not too bad. We have the air conditioning up there. But, give us a little background on yourself. You are divorced. You have kids. How many kids you have?
I have 3 total.
Okay.
Divorced a couple times, but
Haven't we all? You were, yeah, it happens. You know.
Start a club.
I got a son that's 35, married and got a grandson through him, grandson Leo, and then got my daughter, who's 19.
I met her.
Sophomore at Eastern.
That's right. She just got a job.
Well, she had a job. She was working at Amazon and switched over to her passion,
Okay.
Dutch Brothers.
There you go. You do the coffee thing.
Coffee thing.
Nice. And
And
then,
then my littlest guy,
Yes.
who's not little, he's 14, and his name is Hans.
will he always be little to you though?
He will always be.
Okay.
He's my 35-year-old who's taller than me and pretty little.
There. Yeah.
He's a freshman in high school this year at university.
Is it crazy being? So then I have kids, and I always talk to. I know it's outside of it, but isn't it crazy at this point in your life? You go, how'd this happen? And-
Yeah, well, it happened 35 years ago, so
Right.
been a dad for a long time.
Yeah.
Had a little gap in there.
Yeah, but still, isn't it crazy? And you're a granddad now?
Granddad. Yep.
It's crazy.
That's kind of cool.
The easy
Being a
part,
granddad,
right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Ryan's her grandfather, and that's easy.
Yeah.
Crank him up on sugar and send him home.
We've had a response many times. Anything else we should know about you? One of your passions is motorcycling
I'm in
or
a
biking, or
motorcycle club, Buffalo
Yes.
Soldiers Motorcycle Club. I'm the vice president.
and what is that exact for anybody that
For the motorcycle clubs, there's all kinds of different. And our deal is we keep the history of the Buffalo Soldiers going throughout the country, which were African American soldiers, and it was started in 1866 and ended in 1944. So
There you go. So you have a little history of America.
Yeah.
See, I kind of knew a little of this. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Ryan, anything on that? You got nothing? Who are you talking? Never mind. So you've been doing this 28 years. Did you go to, so with career paths, obviously giving information about how, why, and who. You went to high school locally?
went to high school locally, graduated from Valley Assembly Christian School in 1984.
Okay.
Was raised on a dairy farm
Where at?
in the Spokane Valley. We started out in Sunnyside, Washington. We
Okay.
moved up here in 1979 and
Wow.
took a couple year break, and then my dad started up another one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. See, live and learn.
Yeah, and then that kind of went away, and I kind of got into transportation a little bit locally
Okay.
with a smaller trucking company, delivering packages locally. Kind of like that, you know.
Okay.
It was a nice job, and then years later we started another dairy farm. So went back into that for a few years, and then realized that that wasn't going to be my career anymore.
Okay.
I just
Yeah, I get it.
was like, got to find something else. So
Okay. So so this is all. So you fell into it. Did you go to college or anything like that, or just
didn't go to
Yes.
college.
We are not an advocate or non-advocate. Both Ryan and I have some.
I was just not
trade
that
school.
kid that was
Me neither.
was a college kid.
But you don't have loans and debts.
No.
Okay, thank you. That's
And
fine.
then I did the way this job came around. I was ending the dairy career, and a buddy of mine who was working at the company I work at called and says, "Hey, we're starting a new truck driving school."
Okay.
And I'd worked for him previously in the transportation industry. He says, "Are you looking?" And I said, "Well, yeah." I said, "I just happened to be looking for a job."
Coincidentally.
So at that time, I was a test program. There's 3 of us that did our test run on their school.
That's a lot of us.
Yes, and so 3 of us went through the school, and then it
How
was
long did the school take at that time?
4 weeks.
Wow, that's
It's
nice.
a 4-week course
And that was for CDL, et
for
cetera?
CDL. Yep.
Wow.
And at that time, they told me at the end of the course that they'd be offering me a job. So
So
as
you
long
did
as I
okay?
did okay. you
Okay,
know,
so they hadn't offered you stuff. They said when you end the. Okay.
Yeah, that would be an offer. So
Okay.
did the 4-week course, did pretty well, and then went out on the road, over the road trucking for
So they offered you
a
job.
year. Yep,
Okay, just want to clarify that you
got a job. Got a job. And in my previous transportation part, I had been in dispatch before,
Okay.
and I had told them when I started this job, I didn't want to be out on the road the rest of my life as a driver.
Right.
Not a bad job, but
No,
I had a
it's-
kid.
We've had one of our guests, Mr. Simpson, is he still is driving, and so we know, and he goes
Yeah.
out, but he's not out long term.
Yeah, and
He's
even if,
home nightly, but
yeah. Even
Well,
with
daily.
that, I would have probably taken something if they'd offered that. But I mentioned to them that I had
Sure.
some dispatch
Experience.
history and career of that for about 3 years.
Wow.
And at the time, that the company I worked for, those jobs didn't turn over very much.
Sure.
The dispatcher.
Do they
for
turn
medical-
over now that often?
A lot more than they
Really?
used to
Okay.
back in the day.
Okay.
But did that for almost a year, and I got my shot going into the office. So came in the office and started out as a dispatcher.
So, I'm sorry, Ryan, I'm not letting Ryan cut in. I just got questions because
Yeah, I've noticed. Actually, I have a question. So, before the class, you didn't have a CDL, but you
I had what they had was called a combination license.
Okay.
which is what?
Was
Ryan,
the
or-
old CDL
Okay.
before they went to this program, and if you didn't update it in a certain time, you weren't grandfathered in, and
Okay.
so I hadn't done anything with it because I wasn't using it. So
Okay.
this was a way to get my license back. So
So, being a test sub, you didn't pay for the course.
I did not pay for the course,
Because
which is about I don't know what it is today, but I'm sure it's around 5,000. But back in the day, it was like $4,000 that
Still.
they covered. So
Yeah. Okay. So you lucked out on that one too.
yeah.
Oh, like you already. Anything else, Mr. King? Is that it?
No, that's
So
it.
you
for
have a
now.
CDL, correct?
I do.
Okay. Did you have a 2 or whatever that was?
The combination.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Okay.
when I got mine. It was straight into the CDL.
Why? Okay.
Got mine through Dairy Gold.
You've heard of Dairy
Oh,
Gold?
I've heard of dairy. Gold. Yeah, being in the dairy industry,
Yeah.
It's a small world.
Probably sent us milk.
we did.
Yeah.
That was our producer, was Dairy Gold.
Just go ahead and chat. I'll just. Why? You guys, there's more there to go. I'm just waiting for Ryan to be. Go ahead. Who'd you talk to in the office? Never mind. So go ahead and do your job. Post.
Fun. Whatever. So you never really was like heading for being a dispatcher. I mean, that wasn't your lifelong goal or anything.
No. I just I had done it in the past, and I kind of enjoyed it. It's kind of like putting a puzzle together, and at the end of the day, you hope your puzzle's all together the way it's supposed to be.
You have
So-
responsibilities to try to put a puzzle together a little bit more.
But no, definitely wasn't. I didn't sit back as a kid going, I want to be a
Now,
dispatcher. You know?
wait. That's a question we asked later on.
So I just kind of want to point out one thing that I don't think we've ever really touched on it in all the other shows. You know, a lot of people end up in careers that, you know, wasn't something they were going out for,
No.
but they ended up, you know, working here, working there type thing, and then
Got it.
found something that they actually really enjoy and, you know, find a way to make a career out of it and, you know, make a good living and enjoy it without it being, you know, that, oh, I'm an astronaut, I'm a, you know, whatever type thing. Just wanted to,
Yeah, that's
I mean, 'cause-
actually a good point, because things do happen, and you don't always end up where you think you're going to go, or what
Yeah.
you're heading towards.
I know for a lot of us, you know, kids happen, so it changes the whole career
Yes,
path
it does.
right
Did-
then.
Did that happen to you, Brian?
Well, that was the one reason with my son, my oldest boy, sitting at home, was wanting me to get off the road. I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to be able
Right,
to
spend
experience
time.
some of his stuff, and
Spend time with your child?
yes,
How dare you?
yeah, especially as a divorced father, you know, you gotta
I have.
grab that time when you can. So
Ryan, you know about that. Divorced father spend time with your kids, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I have no
Yeah.
clue. I don't. No one would, so here I am. So, Ed, you've been with the company 28 years?
20 was on the
Same
20th
company.
year, same company.
I.
Longer than any marriage I had.
Well, that's no. Your bike's been around longer than
Yeah.
any marriage. But I'm always with mine. I blame myself because obviously I didn't pick very well. Hindsight is 20/20, but yeah, live and learn.
You
So
get some good things out of them. Though,
I've had a
I
good
got my
time.
kid, and I get my kids.
Yeah, you got your kids. Yeah, I get that. I'm actually fortunate. My perspective, I'm glad I don't have kids because I have to deal with the exes. And
Yeah, you're lucky that way.
thank you. Exactly. Yeah. Ryan, how's that with you and your exes and your kids and
You know, nowadays I don't have to deal with them.
yeah, now. How that was that before?
Not the most fun part of my life, that's for sure.
Do you remember anything about? Have you anything about the training course? And I mean, it's been obviously 28 years or more. Do you remember anything about that? Besides, anything stick out in your mind? For the
Well,
truck driving school.
the industry's changed so much in 28 years. The
Yeah.
school, if you went through school now, it'd be totally different. Back then, we were pretty much, everything was analog. You were in paper, like logbooks.
Yeah.
You had to learn how to do it on a piece of paper
I've been there, done that.
and have feared. Whereas today, you got a electronic logbook that tells you how long you can drive, and as long as you push the right buttons. So
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, learned that. You had to learn a little math and a little creative writing is what we used to call it back in the day.
What's creative writing to you?
Getting where you needed to get there and showing it legal.
That was over 28 years ago, so
Yes.
we're okay with that one.
Yeah, I think
I'm sure it doesn't happen today at all in the industry, does it?
No, well, not too much with those electronic logs.
It's kind of harder to.
They put everybody on them, so now the playing field's
Right,
a lot
right.
more level. So.
So nothing, just that, anything negative. One of the questions, all these questions, I'm just trying to apply a couple of them to help out. Anything stick out any bad negative about that from then?
Not
Or-
really. It was an interesting course, and I actually had a pretty good time doing them. When you come into that school and you thought you knew a little bit more than you did, and you get guys that have been in the industry and teaching you. I learned a lot.
There you go. There's
It was good.
It's a good thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, no,
And
it
that's
was a good thing.
it can be. And Ryan and I, that's our whole point. Once again, the career paths is to educate somebody. Hopefully, give them a nugget of information for them to do whatever they're doing, one way or the other. I had talked to somebody had listened to one of our podcasts, one of the shows, and he wasn't specific, but it wasn't about. He got something out of it that had nothing to do with what what the career was, but it helped him somewhere else in his life. Believe it or not, we helped somebody out. That's what they told me. Right?
So, in that training class, did they go over like basic mechanics and like how the airlines work, all
Yes.
that type of stuff?
Airlines,
Yeah.
not like the flying, right?
Yeah, not
No,
like the flying.
Okay, I'm just
lines that hook up the trailer to the truck. Yeah, they go over the basic applications of that because you have to do an inspection pretty much twice a day for sure, if not more. Where they basically started with the process, because you have to memorize it. There's a lot to remember when you're doing a vehicle inspection. Walking up the truck, what are you looking for?
You don't have a cheat sheet or something like that?
You did at the beginning, but
Okay.
when you test, they don't let
Oh,
you.
yeah.
So as the weeks go on, you pretty much got to
Okay.
say to your instructor, hey, this is what I'm approaching the truck, this is what
Okay.
I'm looking for,
Right.
and you go around the vehicle, and you got to check and touch all these certain aspects of it. So yeah, learn the basics. I'm not a big mechanic guy. I'm not stupid, but I can
Did you
hold
do
a
all-
wrench, but
Did you do all right?
I did all right.
Nice.
I can tell you right now, I don't think I can remember all the parts of the inspection, though, even though I'm in the transportation industry.
Yeah,
so.
but you haven't dealt with it over 20
Yeah,
years.
day to day. The guys that are doing it day to day, they remember it. So
Ryan, do you remember that stuff?
Most of it, no.
yeah, I'd
It's
have
been
to
a
take
while
a
since-
refresher if I
Yeah.
was doing it day to day.
So, this is quick, easy thank you. That was quick and easy. I didn't want to
So do
spend.
you still have your CDL?
I do. I
Really?
It's hard to get, man. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
give it up.
So,
Everyone I know that's got one, they don't let them go.
yeah. So you just have to. How do you update on that? Either one
You
of you.
just got to turn your physical
Okay.
in and pay
Do you
your
have-
lots of money to the
Yeah.
state. So
Imagine that money involved.
I still use it.
For?
Doing some volunteer work.
Oh.
I do. I think it's 3 things. I do Hoop Fest.
Okay.
Deliver all the hoops.
Oh,
Me
do
and
you?
about 4 other guys.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Nothing
And then pick them up, and then we do Blooms Day.
heard of that. That's a.
Deliver all the water aid stations.
Wow.
Have done that for almost 27 years.
Wow.
So,
That's something else I
Yeah.
didn't know.
so got to keep that to to do the volunteer
Yeah,
work.
that's true. Wow. Okay. And the physical, like every 2 years?
Yeah, it's
Something like
every
that?
2 years, depending on your health.
Yeah, that's
high
true.
blood pressure and stuff. They can make you do one every year.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I think Terry, our guest, was
Yeah,
he was
for
very.
sleep apnea. You
Yeah,
had to
sleep
do it
apnea
every
is-
year.
Yeah. So doing the dispatch, basically working in. I guess it was an ongoing thing. But at the time when you started, at this, how do I word this? Your benefits, 401, any of that, was that in the beginning? Did it come as it go? How
No,
did
it started. They started with 401k. It was optional.
Okay, yeah,
Had insurance benefits right away, and so that was a bonus.
especially for family.
Yep.
Kids.
And then occasional bonus programs.
Oh, nice.
They weren't on in writing, but
Well, but you saw them.
yes.
Actually, there you go. That's
So-
wow. So, what do you want to name the company you work for?
The division I work for is TW Transport.
That's right.
They are a refrigerated carrier, and that's where I started, was the refrigerated division.
Oh,
And then right now I am doing the heavy haul dry van division.
okay. I don't know.
It's dry freight, no refrigeration unit,
Okay.
hauling all
No.
dry freight, and it'd be 105,000 on the
Oh,
being
scale.
able to hear. It's heavier freight.
Oh, wow. Wow. See, I've just learned a lot today. As usual, I know nothing. Mr. King.
So, what's the refrigerated run at then, weight wise?
80,000.
80?
Yeah, we're licensed for 80,000 gross. So
Good question, Mr. King. About time. I mean, good for you.
That's certain guys that drive and happen to do refrigerated and stuff don't always know what their actual weights are. They think they can haul more than they can, and then they
How do you
find
know
out
this?
later.
Have you done it yourself?
Not me, no.
Not
Past
hit-
guest might have
Oh,
recently.
okay. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Good thing no one watches the show. We're safe then.
exactly.
That was, wow, Brian, that was quick and easy. You're almost done. How was
So-
that?
What's a typical day like?
Oh, thank
Your
you.
task, your hours.
well, I am a 6:45 to 3:45 guy. 6:45 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. Usually show up at the office. First thing you do is get on that computer and get everything dialed in.
I
and
figured
then,
you start the coffee pot or something.
no, I stop and get the coffee. Like the high octane,
The good stuff.
the good stuff. And the girls at the coffee stand near me.
They know you well.
Oh yeah.
Your usual, Brian?
Yeah, exactly. There's sometimes I get to the window, it's made.
Well,
Um,
got a routine.
Yep.
Not a
And then-
bad thing.
No, not a bad thing. Then get everything keyed in, and basically what you're doing is go through your list of drivers. In my division, we deliver every day. I've got like 45 trucks.
7 days a week.
They're yeah.
Okay.
Well,
See, you
in the
said
dry van, we pretty much don't run. We don't deliver on Saturdays and Sundays for the most part
Okay.
because of the places we deliver.
Okay.
Um,
But
They have to leave out. Sometimes we'll get in on a Saturday morning. The division I work for, we guarantee them a 34-hour restart every weekend.
what's
So
that?
you get a 70 hours to work a week from the federal government. Let's say that's as many hours as you can drive within that week. So unless you do a 34-hour restart, which starts your clock over. So the way we work it is we try to get our guys home on the weekends. They get 34 hours guaranteed at home, and then they got to roll out. Sometimes they got to roll out on Sundays. Sometimes they're delivering in town on Monday, so they get pretty much a full weekend. So
Okay. I didn't know that. Once again, live and learn.
So is there someone else that comes in the afternoon to do your same job, kind of?
no,
Rotating through,
We've got several divisions, so each division basically has a manager, and then our regular day usually stops at 5, and we have a night crew come in. And it's a night guy. One guy comes in at night and basically babysits the fleet and fields the calls, and he's able to handle because there's not a ton that goes on at night.
Typically.
And then of course we have with mechanical stuff. We have a what we call road service departments. They handle all the breakdowns and stuff.
Oh.
So he basically fields those calls. He'll transfer them to road service
Wow.
or call a customer type thing. Does reports at night, so those guys are night owls.
Wow.
And those guys got it's a pretty good gig. If I think both of them are single, but they got four days on, 4 days off,
Oh wow.
rotating cycles. So
Younger guys,
no,
but single guys.
well, they're not old. They're about my age.
I didn't say you're old. I'm never implied that, Brian. You're a good-looking man to me.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Keane,
Sure, yeah.
what do you?
So, so what is it about your job that you like and dislike?
Well, I like that it's still there.
Yeah, considering.
It's been steady. The company I work for, they've been good to me.
28 years.
28 years, and doing different things. I did for a long time step into the load coordinating position of it. It's where you're basically giving out the loads to the drivers and their needs, and now it's just I'm back in where I started, where you basically are taking care of the drivers' needs. You know, home time,
Okay.
vacations, make sure they
How
get
many
paid
do they
correctly.
piss you off? So
Oh, you get a lot of them. I'll tell you, after 28 years, I'm not that same guy.
Hey, you.
I was pretty aggressive in the beginning, where guy come at you, you go back at him, and now you kind of understand their situation.
a little more forgiving.
I'm
Okay.
mellowed.
You mellowed?
Oh, I've mellowed. In 28 years, I have mellowed to the point where if I get a little excited, the office goes, "What? Hofstee's still alive?" But yeah, it's
Would that be your blood pressure or something? Is that?
no. I
Okay.
just think it's as you get older.
learn.
It's like my dad used to say, pick your poison. Gotta. If you feel passionate about it, go after it. If you don't, just step back. But these guys, you understand them a little better after 28 years.
Yeah, look. Also, because you've experienced it.
I've
And then you've
experienced.
been around
Yeah,
it, you
exactly.
know
I've been
what's
on the
going-
road. I know what the when you're disappointed, when you've been told something was going to happen and it didn't happen.
Things do
I
happen.
learned,
though.
and it's not, and you take it personal out there as a driver.
Really.
Yeah, because you think they're screwing with you. Whereas when you come into the office and see, well, this is what I'm dealt, and this is what we're trying to deal with, and I got to try to do that, get your needs fulfilled within what I have. Sometimes it works perfect, sometimes not so
Sure.
perfect.
See, I will say, drivers, they got a lot of time to think, so things become
Exactly.
really personal.
You're in a
It's
cab
like
by yourself.
You start
and
coming up with all the reasons why they're coming at you, doing this to you.
And it's negative.
It's like,
I have drivers ask me that personally. Did I do something to piss you off?
Oh.
It's like,
Really?
no, dude, that's just what happened.
Right.
You try to explain
But
to them.
nowadays, with the guys you have driving this, you've known someone for a while, so they know that you're out. You're not out to screw them. You're
Yes.
being as straight up with them as you can be.
You have to build that relationship with the driver, and right now in the industry there's so much turnover, so you got a lot of new guys. I got 50% of the guys that have been around a while, and they understand you, and you trust each other, and
Right.
they can vent.
Right, sure.
You can call and be angry with me all you want.
Right.
Well, they take it a little more personal. It's like
they're new
you
guys.
just got to teach them.
Yeah.
You got to get them to trust you.
Well, and that takes a while, and time will tell. Brian, you want to answer the question when you were a kid? Ask Brian, because I don't know what this answer is.
well, I got another question first.
Son of a.
So take that. So how many jobs
Oh.
/ careers have you had?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been in
2,
this one
3?
for 28.
What you did?
I was in farming.
Exactly. There's one.
And then dabbled in the transportation,
Oh, man.
With a different company.
the different company,
so
and kind of a
two.
different deal, kind of more of a local
two.
deal.
You're right. So 2.
And then
Then back to farming,
back to
but
farming,
that was still.
So back to 1.
a family deal.
We had 2 so far.
And then back to trucking.
So we're back to 2. Some people have it so.
Well, you could say 3 because it was a different company that
Yeah.
time.
Ooh,
And different avenue. Wasn't over the road. Was home every night.
How many jobs have you had to get, Ryan? Never mind.
I
It'd be
think I
too
got
long.
3 in a month once. But
So we're almost done. I keep saying that. What did you want to be when you were a kid? Did you want to be an astronaut? Did you want to be a cowboy? Did you want to be a football player?
I actually think I wanted to be a basketball player.
Really? Is that why you're involved with Hoop Fest, maybe, or it's just you?
Just
being
me volunteering.
Yeah, I can get that.
Um,
A basketball player. Who's your team? Who was inspired?
The Supersonics, who are no longer around. Come on, bring them back.
Well, I'm not a basketball guy, and the only time I really watch.
And I don't follow it like I used to, just for the simple. It's changed. It's not the same NBA. And
Yeah.
back in the '80s, we had the heyday with all those great guys, and made it fun to watch. And it was actually a little physical.
Yeah.
You know? So
Basketball player. The Sonics, huh? I saw do a preseason here at the arena one time years ago. I don't even remember who against. I maybe would have known. Okay, never mind. Anything else, Mr. King, for Mr. Hofstee? And I know your cousin. I met your cousin that one time. I just threw that out. I don't know why. It is cousin, right? Is it?
Mike
Isn't he? Or is it?
Spencer,
Yeah.
that's who could be my nephew.
Oh, nephew. All right, whatever. Nephew, cousin, uncle. I get a lot of feed of all these, and I'll have to clarify who some of these are now. I'm wondering. I don't really care. Wow. All right. Anything? No, look at me. Lost. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment that Mr. King needs to figure out who he can talk to in the office. Months later. That's not what
And when you subscribe, it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, we just
So
we talk to some
subscribe.
people and go, we're still learning ourselves.
It's free.
So, yeah, it's free. Subscribe helps us out. We haven't made a dime. We're not going to make a dime, but wait. What's the biggest misconception you think that the public has of what you do for a living? Guy in the office goes, "You go out and drive and take that." What do you think?
Oh, I've had that comment.
Yeah, what?
You've never driven? I says, oh, yeah, I have.
Aha! So they assume was it that
They assume you haven't.
for a driver or from somebody?
From a driver that comes
Okay,
from.
yeah. You can go back. Oh, please, mister. That was easy. Thank you. There you go. Brian, thank you. Once again, I didn't know some of this stuff. As a couple of our guests, I told you, Mr. Mark Hopkins, I do have to have Mark back on soon, by the way. There's a aviator and pilot, and he has some more information. I did talk about it. Have you talked about it? You didn't know he's a pilot, did you?
No.
See?
I thought he was a horse guy.
I think they are now.
He's
retired.
isn't it Sky God?
Yeah, Sky God. That's
Yes,
yeah.
Sky God.
That's what nickname for those guys.